Robin Hood has been captured, and now it is up to you, his merry band, to rescue him in Rescuing Robin Hood. And here to tell us more about it is the designer Bryce Brown. Bryce, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Bryce, why don't you tell us about Rescuing Robin Hood? What is this game? It has a very, very unique concept to it, but I want you to explain it to everybody.
Sure. Rescuing Robin Hood is a collaborative deck building game for 1 to 5 players, and it plays ages 10 and up, and then 20 minutes per player. That's how long it takes.
Okay.
The concept of it, unfortunately, the Sheriff of Nottingham has captured Robin Hood. And so you, as the merry men and women, your
That's
goal
right.
is to go and rescue him. To make matters worse, the sheriff has even been rounding up various villagers that he has taxed into ruin. And so he's kidnapped them, and then over 4 days, what you do is you go and you rescue those villagers, the four of them, or those 4 days, and then afterwards, you kind of build up your band each turn as you rescue people. Then they join your quest to defeat the Sheriff of Nottingham and rescue Robin Hood. And so then you kind of, over time, you'll build up your deck, and then you go and storm the castle to rescue Robin Hood. So that's kind of the gist
Nice.
of the game there. It's pretty fun.
What does a basic round of the gameplay look like?
Sure. What you do is you draw 4 cards in your hand, and then afterwards you just go ahead and you'll total up your wit, your stealth, brawn, and jolliness. Actually, I just have a couple cards here.
I like the jolliness part of it.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I just really like it.
It's very
So
thematic, the jolliness, with the merry men.
yeah, so each of those work a little bit differently. So wit, you get to kind of press your luck with an attack, so you can
Okay.
flip cards one at a time. Versus stealth, you have to you can choose anything in the whole row to attack. So it's kind of a powerful thing there. And then also brawn, you have to attack everything in one fell swoop.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
unlike it kind of one of the things that's fun about it is unlike some other games where all the things are basically equivalent, each one is kind of different mechanic and attack, and
Right.
they're fairly intuitive. But at the same time, it just kind of brings out the play of it a little bit more, which is a lot of fun. So you draw 4 cards each turn, total up your stats. Then you make 2 attacks to go and rescue villagers.
Okay.
And then the next player will go and do 2 attacks. And then at the end of the round, any rescued villagers, you'll go ahead and recruit them to your side. And then they will, with the first player going first, and then you kind of add them to your deck. And then you'll draw your next 4 cards, and then that's what you have. You have also a band leader that stays in front of you every round and gives you bonuses.
Okay.
So you might have like Maid Marian or Friar Tuck or something like that, and then they will help you out each turn. So that's quite valuable.
It's such a unique concept to take a deck builder but really make it like a battler game as opposed to, trying to defeat each other. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've yet to meet people. I have played it with 150 people so far,
Oh,
and
wow.
so far out of those people, only 3 of them haven't enjoyed playing it, and
Those are good stats.
Yeah.
2 of them are board game designers who I'm not quite sure play games for fun anymore. They probably do, but I'm not sure.
Get to that point where they overanalyze way too much.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All right, so I'm a huge fan of Robin Hood. One of my favorite movies growing up was the Disney Robin Hood cartoon. Where did the idea come from? Was it always a Robin Hood game in your mind, or tell us a little bit about the origins of the game?
Yeah, I wanted to create a collaborative deck building game because at the time I had thought there were no collaborative deck building games.
Hmm.
I was incorrect, but at the same time, that was my goal. And so I thought through, okay, what would be a really good theme for a collaborative deck building game? I wanted to go more of a historical theme and something that was accessible. At first, I was thinking through pirates, but then I realized pirates aren't very
They
collaborative.
don't collaborate. No, no.
No.
It'd be very treacherous. So then it was more fun to have. I had kind of always dreamed of like, okay, I've watched Robin Hood movies. I was like, I just kind of wish there was a game. that you could be the people that were going and stealing the taxes or rescuing these villagers or various people or whatever. And so then I kind of like, well, I didn't. It doesn't seem like there really is one because there's a lot of like There was another one that's like a semi-cooperative game
Right.
where somehow the Robin Hood theme is like competitive as like
Oh, okay.
like this is the first co-op game that is Robin Hood themed, but I could be wrong. Uh, but
Until you learn otherwise, go for it. Claim
yeah,
it.
that's my. Anyways, I do know it's a really strong game. It's played very well. The art is just gorgeous. I've worked with Paul Vermeesh on that and just really been pleased with it. The box art turned out really well too. It's this year, so
Nice. Yeah,
that
it's
is beautiful.
a
Yeah.
great look. It's a great look to it.
and kind of we did kind of a fun thing on the side too, with each one having like a set of characters and stuff.
That's
So
awesome. I do want to ask you then, since you Tico mentioned he loves Robin Hood, you love Robin Hood. What's your favorite Robin Hood movie of all of them? What do you have a favorite?
yeah, I would say the kind of the older I'm forgetting the name of there was a Robin Hood movie kind of in the 70s, I believe, or 60s or 70s. I'm forgetting exactly
The Errol Flynn one.
that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My
just very kind of lighthearted, kind of movie, and just very not
That's
taking
not Men in
itself too
Tights, is it?
seriously.
No. Men in Tights is the Mel Brooks.
That's Mel Brooks. Okay, yes.
That's
So
the Mel Brooks.
yeah, I know. Okay. Actually, my favorite Robin Hood movie would not be popular among most people because it's the Kevin Costner one. But I'm a Kevin Costner fan, so I just love I love
like
his
that
Robin
one.
Hood.
Enjoyed that one. That was Prince of Thieves, right?
Prince of Thieves. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I loved it.
There've actually been a number of decent Robin Hood movies. No, is what I would say over the years.
For sure. For sure.
It's a good IP to get into. There's some fun stories that you can tell with that. Like I said, my favorite growing up was the cartoon.
Disney.
And the Disney cartoon, and just watch that over and over again. So just any opportunity to play Robin Hood stuff is always fun.
Well, let's get back into the game. Now, you call this a deck builder, but in your own videos describing it, you actually describe it as a deck refinement game.
Yes.
Explain what that means, and that is really what's so unique about this being you're sort of taking the concept of a builder, but turning it a bit on its head. So talk about what you mean by a deck refinement game.
Yeah, so I've debated whether to call it a deck builder or deck refinement. Deck refinement looks like you start with 8 cards, and they're kind of just randomly assorted. So you may have ones that are good at wit, brawn, and stealth, but really in the game, to focus on 1 or 2 is the most powerful strategy. And so what you do is you'll have these cards out in the middle, and then maybe one's really good at brawn and others good at wit. And then you might select, okay, I'm going to focus in wit is where you go. But at the end of round 2, what you do is you take your entire deck. You start with 8 cards in your deck, and maybe you'll have 11 or 12 at that point. And then you just remove, let's say, 4 of the cards if you've recruited 12. And then you're down to 8. So you look through your entire deck and you really refine it to be only 8 cards. And the other ones go into the communal discard pile, Sherwood Forest. So they're still there helping the cause.
Okay.
But like you have them there. So the deck refinement allows for the game to accelerate very quickly. So like normal Dominion, you might play, I don't know, 20 turns of Dominion. Right. Then you would win, each turn you'd gain a card and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. But with Rescuing Robin Hood, you only play it over 5 turns. And so it allows for the game to accelerate very quickly to kind of the finale, and yet you've still been able to build up your deck as you go along. So it's kind of it's a fun thing there. And then it helps you to kind of focus in on the tactics as well.
Right.
While kind of you have the deck building aspect, but then the tactics of, are you attacking with wit or brawn or stealth, or are you going to use scouting to reveal cards? Those are some of the really important decisions. And some of the most thrilling moments too, like when you flip that next card, it's got the same thrill of blackjack of like, am I going to win?
Right.
Yeah.
This like super high stakes, and you flip that, and there have been moments when I would say like some of the highest endorphin rushes I've had, actually probably in my life, have been from rescuing Robin Hood, because you're just like building up to this moment, and then like flip the card and like, yes, we
Nice.
did it.
Nice.
And it's communal. It's not just like, like I won $100. It's, like we are all together, we win.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun that way.
So you're refining the deck, and because it's a co-op experience, so each player can really build up the deck to be more powerful in one particular stat, if that's what they're looking for. Like, I'm going to be the one who's going to build up all the stealth. Give me all the stealth cards, so I can build up stealth. And Tico, maybe you'll be all the bronze, so you can take care of that aspect. And it really allows you to make a powerful deck.
Yeah.
And that's what's fantastic about it, because it's communal. I think that's what kind of takes that deck builder and turns it on its head. And I love the idea of deck refinement. You only ever have 8 cards, but you're now making those 8 cards as powerful as possible.
Yes. And I forgot to mention also the final battle. You take your entire deck and you refine down to only 4. So you just choose your dream team.
Okay.
So you just basically, that moment when you're like, let's say you're playing Magic the Gathering, and you're like, oh, if only I could have these 7 cards or whatever. It's like, you get to make those 4 cards, and that's what you're going in with.
Nice.
So it's really fun.
Yeah, that's so unique.
So the game itself is 1 to 5 players. Does the gameplay differ if you're playing solo versus the different player counts?
We've experimented with that. So far, we haven't found a solo version that works better than playing 2 or 3 decks and multiple different players. People have found it really fun as a solo version. It's a good kind of puzzle to figure out. So you've got still those kind of choices of, are you going to keep going or are you not? And also you get to kind of perfectly do the puzzle, which is nice. So I think it works well in that. And we've been experimenting a little bit with what happens if you just play one deck and then have multiple turns to go for a specific group. And that may work as well, but before I'm like, yeah, that's what we're doing, I want to test that out first.
Okay, so you're still working on the single-player solo aspect to refine it and define what that is.
So I would say we've already found a good solution. The question is if we can find a second good solution.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Different variant, yeah.
Yeah, so we're building variants right now, but the core of the game is really solid. And then it's just kind of like, okay, let's test this variant, make sure this works, just because that way you can add more depth to the game.
Right.
So that kind of where its current state is kind of in that final, I don't know if you, it's gone through many iterations of playtesting already, and then it's now in kind of its final kind of production, and then a couple add-ons onto the to kind of what might be expansions, but we're just kind of putting them in there.
Yeah. I want to go back. You were talking about earlier about really having those fun play sessions and just having amazing things happen. What's one of the most memorable things to happen during one of your playthroughs?
There was this one moment in which we had 4 different villagers on the line for like, could we rescue them or could we not, which is a ton. Normally you'd rescue maybe you might rescue 6 in total, and then you've got a ton on the line there. And I was like, okay, the safest choice would be to just rescue these 2, but I know that the endorphin rush of taking the heavy risk and going for all 4 of them is so high that it's a game. If we lose, it's sad. But like, if we press our luck, it's gonna be awesome if we succeed. And then I'm like, it's a bad strategy, but it's super fun. So I did it, and I flipped the card, and then boom, we won. And it was me and the artist who were playing, and we're just like, yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And then you rescued Robin Hood.
Exactly, yeah. So then we had the characters that we needed to rescue Robin Hood, and then even go for the bonus quest of defeating the Sheriff of Nottingham afterwards.
Right, because defeating the Sheriff is a sort of, you call it a stretch goal in the game. You don't have to, but you can.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
So after you've rescued Robin, you can go ahead and it's like, let's try to take down the Sheriff as well.
Yes, and then he flips and joins your side, which is pretty cool, and adds his stats. So it's kind of, he's not just a damsel in distress. He's also bringing out a sword to help out.
Robin Hood is, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. But the question is, if you then defeat the sheriff, you can't play the game anymore because he can't take Robin Hood hostage anymore. You've defeated him. You got to throw the game out, isn't that? Oh, it's no,
And
not
then
a.
buy another copy.
It's,
right?
You have to buy another copy. It's not a legacy game like that, eh?
Well, you know, the wonderful thing about the world is there's always villains to fight. There's always bad people out there.
True.
So, you know, if we're good people to go and fight bad people, it's always a thing that can happen.
Someone else will take the sheriff's place.
Someone else will be the new Sheriff of Nottingham.
That's right. There'll be another sheriff, and he'll just turn around and do it again. So,
and maybe he'll be really kind and good, in which case there's no need to play the game. But in the event he might be bad and evil, well then, yeah, you've got to go for another round.
You got it too. So I'm talking about, you mentioned before about maybe having some expansions and stuff like that. Will you have expansions, and is that something that we might see as part of your Kickstarter as stretch goals?
I would say right now for our plan for the kind of expansions is to take the setup cards and then have more kind of exclusive setup cards for the Kickstarter. And then also to have exclusive challenge cards for the Kickstarter. So these would be cards that would only be available to people who had backed the Kickstarter.
Okay.
Okay.
So those are two things there. So it kind of builds out some kind of unique cards for that. And so that'll the way that the villagers are arranged, the special powers that you'll get, maybe, you know, +3 jolliness every turn or every round or every, and so that would be a way that you might go for that. Further on, I am thinking of creating a second expansion to the game that would be kind of more full-blown expansion, called the Guy of Gisborne expansion. And that would be a semi-cooperative game.
Oh.
So the Guy of Gisborne is the assassin who is commissioned to kill Robin Hood. And so one of you is the Guy of Gisborne, and then the other ones are trying to thwart him from killing Robin Hood. So it's like one of you may play Robin Hood or something like that, and then we're trying to figure that out. So it's
nice.
Another kind of twist on the whole co-op thing of like,
will the assassin be known?
I haven't quite determined that yet. So
or is it secret assassin would be interesting.
I have the theme.
Yeah.
This is my thing. I start with, what is the game that I really want to play? I want to play that game.
Yeah.
And so then I decide, after I've decided what game I really want to play, then I just go and make it. So that's kind of how I started rescuing Robin Hood, and turned out really well, starting with theme first and then having mechanics that really kind of built in really well with the theme. And so that's one of the things that has been really strong, I mean, about the game overall.
Right. No, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm excited for the game. Once Kickstarter is done and are fully funded, because you're going to be, obviously it's a great game, so you're going to be funded. I'm stating it right now. But after Kickstarter is done, if somebody stumbles across this video and they want to get the game, will they be able to get it online? Are you planning to go to retail? What's the plan there after Kickstarter?
Yeah, my plan is to go both to retail and online.
Awesome.
I've got people that I'm working with in the United Kingdom as well, as the United States. So that's kind of my plan, is to work in that. And then, it's too early to speak on it, but my intentions are to also bring things to Australia and that area of the world as well.
And up here to Canada. Don't forget us.
Of course, to Canada. I'm sorry.
No, that's great. The game sounds great. Bryce, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck on the campaign. Like I said, I'm excited. If anyone wants to see full rules, go to YouTube, go to CastilloGames.com, where there's a video on how to actually play the game. Bryce goes through all the rules. It's absolutely fantastic. And go to Kickstarter and back it. Bryce, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's great to meet both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm excited about Rescuing Robin Hood coming out, and really encourage you to check it out on Kickstarter November 10th. If you like this content also and enjoy these kind of interview settings, I encourage you to subscribe to OMG Nexus.